Just noticed I was muted. Oh my goodness. All right. Happy Friday if you're watching this live. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay in the comments. I love seeing how many people go back through and kind of like binge watch all the things. So welcome. I believe we are live, but if you can hear me, go ahead and post where you are watching from today. And I will make sure everybody can hear me this time, right? Let me see. I've got to tag a few people that said they were interested in watching. Let's see. There we are. Good. Your car, Jessica. Good to see you guys. Hope you're driving safely. And Albuquerque, Tammy's from Albuquerque, Jamie from California. Welcome. It's good to see you guys virtually. Today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. That's why I just went ahead and just put some slides together just to keep me on track, to help you guys really absorb the information I want to share today. And so let me know if you can see my screen. I hope that I'm not just a little video in the corner. I hope that you can actually see what I'm trying to share. Let me check on my computer here. And again, if you're tuning in live, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, as I was saying when I was muted, put hashtag replay. I would love to see where you guys are watching from and who's coming back to binge watch all the things. Hi, Emma from Spain. Awesome. Welcome. I think we have a student from Spain right now in the academy, so that's pretty exciting. That's one of the things I love about this work is not only can I help dogs, obviously, by helping you guys, but I can help you guys like no matter where you are around the world, dogs around the world as a result of helping you. And so it's really incredible. Kind of seems kind of quiet, you know, when I'm in my office all day at home, but getting to see you guys share your wins and successes and all of that is just amazing. Hello from Canada. Oh, but you're on vacation in Florida. Wow, that sounds nice, Sylvia. That sounds really nice. It snowed today. I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, but it's white outside again. And I don't think it's quite done snowing for this winter yet. So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to spring. We're gonna plant some flowers. My daughter is excited to water those flowers. She loves being in the garden and taking care of all the plants, just like mom. So it's pretty cute. All right, West Sussex, UK, Arizona, welcome. All right, well, it sounds like you guys can hear me okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have a call to join in an hour, so we are limited on time today. And I wanna make sure I'm able to get through all of this stuff. So let me just double check. Okay, good. You can see me and you can see the slides, how exciting. All right. All right, let's dive in. So today we're talking about the misconceptions that I see very, very frequently that holds dog trainers back from really reaching their full potential, from really impacting as many animals and lives as they can. And it's just a lot of stuff that you know, it's things that we've always done. And so we just keep doing them because we think we're supposed to do them. And I want to kind of steer the ship a different direction, if you will. So today, that's what we're talking about. A few housekeeping items. First of all, if you are new to the Facebook group, welcome. I'm really excited to see you here. Definitely check out the guides section. I've got some incredible, like, inspiring stories. I've got interviews that I've done with other professionals in the industry, like Ken Ramirez. I have a series of trainings that I've done like this that can help you get kind of unstuck with your business. So if you're feeling pressure and you feel like you're doing a lot of things and not getting a lot of traction, those are some really good places to get started. And feel free to binge watch this weekend. That's what I do. When I first join a group, I'm like, ooh, what all can I learn very quickly? Because it's a really interesting topic to me at the moment, right? The next thing, oh, maybe I can change slides. How do I do this? Why are you not? Oh, there we go. The next thing I want to point out is the book. Last fall, I wrote and published a new book called The Modern Dog Trainer's Guide to 10K Months. And it really goes into, it's kind of a culmination of all my teachings, if you will, where I brain dumped everything that I want you guys to know about what it's like to run a successful dog training business. I address a lot of these myths. I address a lot of the, obstacles that you can kind of encounter as you're building your business. And it's really like, I'm really, really proud to have written it. And it's already changing lives. I've gotten really great messages about it, about how it's helped people see their businesses differently, really take ownership about, where they're at and what they can do to get traction. And so I highly encourage you guys to grab that. And I should have had the link ready, but I don't. So let me go grab it real quick. It's just moderndogtrainer.net/book. If you haven't read it yet, I strongly suggest reading it. If you do nothing else today, go get that. Next up is complimentary game plan calls with our business strategist, Tylene. Ty for short, and she has spoken to over 200 trainers in the last 12 months, and she's really good at helping you guys identify what's missing, what needs to be your next step, what you can do to get that traction. And so if you haven't yet, definitely schedule a call with her. And actually you have to apply because we do limit the availability for that. It is, Jamie, I just saw your question about audio. It actually is not in Audible format. I can certainly work on putting that together though. My voice right now is not very great because I'm still coming off of a cold, but I can certainly put that on the to-do list. And those that buy the book, I will absolutely send that to you guys for free once that becomes available. So don't let that stop you from grabbing it and getting started, right? Anyways, back to the game plan call. It's just like a 30-minute to 45-minute call to really identify what are the gaps in your business that are holding you back, that you could, come up with some really clear next steps. So you're a learner that does best listening. Awesome. No, I'm really glad you point that out because honestly, I am not. I cannot just listen to something and understand it. It just is like background noise to me. I'm very visual, so I need the slides. I need the visuals. So that's really good for me to know. And so we will definitely get that in the works. I'll let my team know, and we'll see what we can do about getting an audio version sent out to you guys soon. But yes, so if you are interested in a game plan call with Tylene, you can call her Ty. She's super sweet. She truly, absolutely cares so deeply about the success of each and every one of you. She's very passionate about helping women succeed in life in general. And so you can request a call with her because we don't accept everybody, because we do care about who we work with. We care very much about the methodology that you're using. We care about making sure that what we can provide you is actually helpful to you in your situation. So she can let you know whether or not you qualify for a game plan call and if that's something that would be valuable to you. All right. It's me. My name is Ines McNeil. I am the founder of the Modern Dog Trainer, which I founded back in 2014 at this point. And it started really as a basis for putting stuff out there that wasn't already out there about running a dog training business. When I was starting my own business, I was I was Googling everything, and I just couldn't find anything about like how to run a group class or, how to handle dog training clients. Like there was no information like that available. So I started kind of cultivating a group of volunteer writers to share their insights about what it's like to run a dog training business. So if you haven't checked out the blog, it will blow your mind. There's lots of really good info. So ultimately, that's why I started the Modern Dog Trainer, was to make this information really much more publicly available so that trainers everywhere, no matter where you are in the world, could get started and understand, and not have to make everything up from scratch, right? But to take a couple steps back from that particular journey, I started out my life in France. I was born in France, and I moved to Texas when I was just 4 years old. So that's why I don't have an accent, but I do speak fluent French and fluent English. And I don't really have an accent in either one. Sometimes it takes me a bit to kind of really fully switch gears into French, because my husband's English, or American, and so we speak English. So growing up in Texas, I spent a lot of time wanting to be with animals, because that was a really easy way for me to connect with a living being. They don't speak English or French. It was just a natural connection that occurred. And so I would spend time with my neighbors, because my parents didn't let me have pets. But my neighbor had 7 or 10 rescue dogs, and I had another neighbor that had like 30 rescue cats. And so I spent a lot of time in animal rescue in Texas. I grew up as a teenager. I was, an adoption counselor, a behavior evaluator, all of that stuff. So I've always been in and around dogs. And another unique fact about me is I'm a crossover trainer. So I used to be a huge, don't want to name any names, but he's on National Geographic, a huge fan of him. And I even went to one of his in-person seminars, met him in person in 2008, I believe, or was it 2006? One of those years, and very much was just the biggest fan, right? It really, what he was teaching honestly resonated with me at the time. And it wasn't until I adopted my very own dog that I quickly discovered that, even despite having worked with hundreds of dogs through rescue, I get the one dog that just makes things worse with, right? And so that led me to, looking to other trainers to learn more, to researching, to sharing my crossover journey. That's when I started the crossovertrainer.com. So I've been online for a very long time sharing my journey, and it's been amazing to see it evolve to this point. I am now a mom to a toddler, soon to be 4-year-old, which is wild to me to think that it's been like basically 4 years with child in some capacity. I was never one that wanted to have kids, but we ended up changing our minds, and now we are definitely one and done. But she's absolutely amazing. I just absolutely love her to death, but she definitely sucks a lot of brain power out of my brain. And then ultimately now my focus has turned to really helping other dog professionals around the world help them with their businesses, because I see you guys as an extension of my impact. If I can help you be successful, if I can help you help more dogs, then ultimately, in a way, I am helping more dogs as well, right? Because you're in the game, you're in training much longer, you're enjoying what you're doing, you're scaling your capacity to help dogs. And so that's really, really important to me. And now as of January, I'm on the board of the APDT, which is really amazing. And I chose to become a board member because back in 2014, the APDT conference was the very first conference that I went to. And since then, it still is the best conference I've ever been to. And it really was kind of a pivotal moment in my dog training career to really find that community, find that space where it allowed me to ask questions. I felt welcomed, felt supported. And so I want to give back now a few years later, 9 years later. So if you haven't yet, we are having the APDT conference in October. I don't have the dates right in front of me, but definitely check that out if you're interested in attending a dog training conference. There's nothing like it. It's just amazing. All right. So who's ready for some really important information? Let me know. Put ready in the comments and we will dive in. I'm going to take a sip of water while we're getting started. Awesome. All right. So today we're talking about the misconceptions of what it really takes to become a successful, sustainable dog training business owner. And some of the assumptions that you're making about your clients very much have an impact on how you run your business, how much money you're making, how your clients perceive you, and ultimately the impact that you're having with your clients, right? So who here has ever sold a single dog training lesson? Let me know in the comments. You can put me or let me know. Yeah. So what comes to mind is like when you're on the phone with a potential dog training client and they're like, oh, I just need help with potty training or I don't know, jumping, right? They tell you about this one specific issue. They are certain it's going to only take one lesson to fix. And then you cave, right? You're like, okay, I don't want to turn them away. I don't want them to not get training or go with somebody else. So you sell them a one single lesson, right? Let me know if you've done that in the past, or maybe you currently do it, right? That's still a very common practice in the dog training industry. And there's a very important reason why we don't want to be doing that. So I want to talk about it. I'm going to mute myself to cough. All right. So what actually happens when you sell a single dog training lesson is, one, you have spent a lot of effort to get this one client, and it doesn't necessarily make financial sense to just work with them for 1 hour, right? There are some cases where that works. There's most cases that's not really going to provide the client what they really need. Number two is this client thinks that now they've bought one lesson, they're convinced it's going to be everything they need, and you're stuck there knowing it's going to take more than one lesson, right? Or you don't know if they're going to be committed to more than one lesson. And so what that does is, it puts a lot of pressure on you. It puts the expectation from the client's point of view that they are going to achieve their goals in one lesson. And ultimately, we know that's very rarely actually possible. And then ultimately, there's usually more than one issue, right? Usually what they're bringing us is very much a symptom of a bunch of other things that are happening in their homes. And so selling them one lesson really is essentially doing them a disservice, even though it's convenient. It's the easy way out from trying to sell them a bigger package. But ultimately, it's not going to lead to great results. It's not going to lead to referrals. It's not going to lead to a happy client that can't stop talking about you. And you're going to feel just, not happy, to say the least, right? So that's why I really don't recommend that you sell single session lessons. But I'm very much aware that the reason that people do that is because they don't have the tools or the techniques or the strategies to do anything differently, right? Like you don't know how to sell something that's a much bigger package. And you don't know how to explain that value to a client in a way that's going to make them think, oh yeah, you're totally right. I need more. Right? So I see that all the time with my students. Next item. Have you ever tried selling training as a series of hours of your time? So by that, a series of classes, a series of lessons, a package of 3 lessons. I certainly did that. And these are all things I've done before, by the way. I'm by no way passing judgment. But I'd love to know, have you ever tried selling training as a series of hours in some capacity? And the reason that we do this is because that's what we think people want, right? We're caught up in the little details and the logistics of providing training. You think, well, this problem's going to take 5 sessions, so I'm going to sell them 5 lesson packages. But really what that does is it kind of devalues your expertise. It devalues what you're actually doing. And ultimately, if you think about it in one way, if you're selling by the hour, but you're more efficient or you're a better trainer, you get things to happen much more quickly, you're reducing the amount of money you're making. So for me, that makes no sense. I absolutely think that if you're able to get better results more quickly, then you absolutely should be earning more money, right? That's much more valuable. And so the hourly pricing model is really, really outdated. And it just does not work for the dog training industry. So what actually happens is they're not there to buy hours of your time. Your clients do not want to, as much as they may absolutely love you, they're not there to spend time with you, right? They're buying an actual solution to a problem they're having or a problem they're trying to avoid having, right? If they have puppies. And so that's really what we need to be selling them, is this is going to be a means to an end of a problem that you're having. And so it's not really about how much time it's going to take. It's not about how many classes they're going to take or how many lessons they're going to go through. Very much is about what are they working towards in the end? Like, what's the point of training? I ask my students that all the time. So tell me, what is the point of dog training? Trust me, I know, but I want you to take that step back and take a bigger picture view at what is happening in their lives. How is it impacting their relationships? How is it impacting their lifestyle? How is their dog not really meeting the expectations that they had as far as what it would be like to have a dog? So there's so many different things you can really highlight in what you're doing to really better articulate the value that you're providing, rather than just bringing it down to just basic hours for time. Okay. Now, if you guys are ready for point number 3, or kind of assumption number 3 that you're making about your clients, put a 3 in the comments so I know that you guys are ready. I'm gonna have some more water. All right, I think Facebook, as usual, has delays. Hopefully I don't sound too nasally for you guys. Where are we here? Awesome. Hey, Heidi, thanks for joining. Okay. Number 3. Have you ever, oh, I'm missing a bullet point, looked at what your competition is doing to see what you should offer, to see what you should price yourself at? This is an assumption that trainers are making, and the assumption is that your clients are going to care what other trainers are doing. Some of them will, most of them won't, especially if you're attracting people that very much care about working with the best trainer, not just the cheapest trainer, right? So why do we look at our competition? For one, I think it just gives us a nice security blanket. Like, if we're not more expensive and we're offering the same things, then obviously it's a better deal to work with us, right? But that's really not what your clients want. You are probably doing this just to avoid being the most expensive, because then you think that it's going to make clients think that it's a good deal. You think that you're not going to hear the pricing objection, like, oh, you're too expensive. But in reality, no matter what you do, people will always come up with that excuse because it just comes down to it's not a priority, right? So it's sometimes it is price, most of the time it's just not the right time for them, or they don't think it's the right time for them. And it's up to you to really understand what is the real objection behind that. But that's a whole other conversation. Maybe you're looking around at the competition to price yourself, appropriately in the marketplace because you don't want to step on toes. You're looking at what your, more experienced traders near you are pricing themselves at, and so you don't want to go above that when really that should have nothing to do with what you're doing, right? And I'll explain why. So what actually happens when you're looking at your competition to price yourself is two things. One is you're not taking the time to really truly understand what your clients want, or just flat out taking the time to understand your clients and what they're looking to get out of training. They're essentially the ones paying you, not the competition. So they're really the only opinion that matters about what you're offering and what you're pricing yourself at. And then two is when you're looking at what your competition is doing all the time, you're letting someone else structure your business. You're letting somebody else say what you need to be offering and what you need to price yourself at, and maybe even down to what you need to do for marketing, right? If you're just, kind of mimicking what somebody else is doing. When really what you need to be looking at is, how do you want to run your business? What are your preferences? What are the services that you want to offer? I'm very much a fan of helping my students figure out what works for them. Some people love classes. I'm like, okay, let's build something with classes. If you love private lessons, okay, let's do private lessons. If you love board and trains, let's build something with board and train. But really, it comes down to, what do you like offering? Because nothing will burn you out faster than doing something in your business that you don't enjoy, right? Or offering services to people you don't like, doing something you don't like. You will quickly burn out, right? That will be very exhausting for you. So be very careful about looking at what your competition is doing. First, look internally, look at what your clients want. And I guess if you're curious at the end of the day, go and look. But that should not be your quote unquote starting point, right? It should be very much what makes sense for me and who I am and how I like to help people. And bullet point number 4, which is not on here, but I still want to talk about, is who here still tweaks their website like once a week, maybe even once a day. I know that when I was first getting started, my website was basically my handbook of my business. I put everything on there. I was like, here's all my policies, here's all my services, all my pricing, all my location areas, all the things. I just put it up there so that I didn't have to remember it. And that's really just not the best way to do it, right? Best way to build a website. But I do want to talk about kind of why do we do this? When we're constantly tweaking our website, we think it's going to help clients know about your work and want to work with you, right? And that's not necessarily false, but if nobody's visiting your website to begin with, then it's not really going to be attracting any clients to work with you. We're thinking that your website is the first place that somebody's going to go to learn more. You think that people will organically just find your website, and that's just not really what happens, right? So it's kind of like your storefront. But if you build your storefront on an island where nobody's walking by, then it's very unlikely that somebody's going to come in and buy something from you. So the website is a nice to have. For my students, is typically what I say. It's nice to have. You should have one at some point, but the website in and of itself, standalone, will not get you clients. People have to know it exists to read it, right? And SEO takes a long time. You can't really control it. There are things you can do. Yes, I'm a fan of SEO, but it's very much out of your control, right? You're kind of relying on the kindness of Google, which we know is not a thing. So, websites are great. You should have one eventually, but it does not need to be the place you go to every week or every day to update and tweak this and that, thinking that it's going to generate a client. And I can say that because I have been there. So let me see if you guys have any comments. If you have any questions, now's a great time to toss those in here. Trying to find the live so I can see the comments. Here we go. All right. Any questions so far? Are these making sense? Are these resonating with maybe some things that you're assuming about your clients or what you're doing? As far as, you know, what you're assuming about your clients regarding websites, is the assumption there is that they're going to just naturally come across it. They're going to naturally just read it all. That's the other thing I see a lot is trainers like to kind of just brain dump all of their information. You know, they have a full-blown philosophy page, they have a full-blown services page, full-blown about page. And that's all great for SEO, but most people will not read all of that word for word before deciding whether or not they want to work with you. So how do we generate clients consistently? If you guys are ready for that, put clients in the comments. And I'm going to take another water break. All right. So to generate clients consistently, you must be visible consistently, right? So you have to be as loud and proud of your business as more than anybody, because nobody else is going to cheer on for your business as much as you will. Nobody's going to be able to articulate the impact of your work as well as you can. And so you very much have to be visible and, you know, loud and proud about what you're up to and what you're working on, right? So here's my fun little fishing analogy that I said I was going to share. I was writing out my notes for this and I was thinking, you know, it's like a common term way to explain it. And it comes down to, you must put your fishing hook in the right lake with the right bait, right? So first things first, for clients, do you know what lake they're in? I don't know anything about fishing, so, you know, I'm just going to say big fish, little fish. But if you're trying to catch a very big fish, you're not going to get anywhere if you're fishing in your own swimming pool, right? Even if you have the right bait, the right hook, nothing's there. I mean, I hope you don't have big fish swimming around your swimming pool, but that's the point, right? You have to know where your clients already exist. So go to the right lake, which means find the right platform to connect with your clients. Now, next analogy. Are you using the right bait? Do you know what you need to be saying and promoting in order to catch that big fish? That client, that ideal client, right? Do you know them so well that you know what they're going to eat for breakfast? You know what they're going to do for fun this weekend? Do you know what they care about at the end of the day, what their values are, and what they want to get out of training or out of having a dog? Okay, so do you have the right bait? And then 3 is, do you use the right hook? You can't go to the right lake and use the right bait with the wrong hook, right? It would break if you try and get the right fish that you're trying to get. It's just not going to work. You're never going to reel it in all the way, right? I'm so proud of myself for this one. Are you using the right hook? So for this analogy, the right hook is, do you have a proven sales process? Do you know how to get them in your system, onboarded as a client and working with you? Do you know what their objections are going to be? Do you know what they're up against in life that would prevent them from training? Not just like monetarily, but, you know, mentally. What are they thinking about training that might slow them down from actually investing in it? So you have to have the right hook to really reel them in all the way into the boat, all the way into your system and make that sale, right? So think about, are you using the right platform? Are you in the right lake? Are you using the right messaging? Are you using the right bait? And then are you using the right a system to reel them in? Are you using the right hook? Okay. Let me know if that makes sense. It helps hopefully clarify. Maddie says I'm loving this analogy. It's funny because I don't fish. And Maddie's always laughing at me because I use a lot of like ocean, like ship analogies, and I don't know how to go on an ocean in a boat. Yeah, I don't even want to do cruises. So I don't know. I guess that's just what I caught on in school. It just made sense. All right. So hopefully that helps clarify what it means to kind of be visible. You want to make sure you're where your clients already exist, not on an island somewhere where nobody's going to see what you have to say. Okay. Next, really want to make sure you guys are focusing on doing the right work, right? Because a lot of trainers I see before they become students is they are just spinning their wheels. They feel like they're reinventing a lot of stuff all the time. They're doing a lot of extra work that makes them feel productive or makes them feel helpful. But it really is not going to move the needle in their business. So are you doing the work that is going to put you in front of the right people? So again, really getting clarity on who your ideal client is really important, because if you don't know who they are, then you don't know where to start. And that's something that we obviously help you work through and get clarity on. Are you doing work that puts you in a position of authority? So this is very much a mindset question, as well as what you're putting out there. Are people going to look at what you're saying, what you're putting out there as are you going to be somebody that they respect, that they want to hear more of, that they value hearing from, or is it just going to be background noise like everything else? And so I want you to take a minute and think, if I was making 10K a month from my training business, what would be my beliefs? What would I think every day? What would my actions be? And how would my daily routine be different? Right? Because your beliefs impact your thoughts and your actions. So pay attention to those things. Even though it's just mindset, I cannot tell you the importance of it. It is something that will slow you down more than not knowing what to do, right? Because if you do something without the right belief behind it, you're not giving that clarity. So take a minute to think about, if I was making 10K a month for my training business, what would my thoughts be on a daily basis? What would I believe? How would I show up for my clients or for my marketing or for my business? And if that's different than what you're doing now, you have to start doing that now, because you have to choose it first before it actually becomes a reality for you, right? And then lastly, are you doing work that encourages people to connect and reach out to you? So I see a lot of great information being shared out there, but I don't see a lot of invitations to work with people, right? So maybe you're publishing really great information, but you're failing to ask people to work with you. They don't read minds. They need to be told exactly what to do, what's the next step, and how to get some traction with their training and their dog. So I think it's really important to remember that as much as, good stuff you're putting out there, you want to make sure you're also giving people a next step. Let people know how to begin working with you. Oh, good, Jamie. I'm just seeing your comment now. I'm glad you enjoyed the analogy. Who knows? My brain works in mysterious ways. So if you are interested in a game plan call with our amazing business strategist, Ty, short for Tylene, she's got some availability next week. And so fill out a form and let us know about your business. Let us know where you're at, what your goals are, where you want to be in the next 6 months, because it could be drastically different when you have the right tools in place. And she can help you identify what are those missing pieces in your business. What is really holding you specifically back from getting to this level? I can tell you now, it is not your location, because I have worked with people all over the world, Montana, Australia, South Africa, like Texas, everywhere, New York, Canada, and they're all seeing amazing traction from the systems that we can give you. So don't let that be an excuse. Take ownership over where you're at in your business, and you can really see some traction in the next 6 months. Okay. Let me put the link for that in the comments if it hasn't already been posted. Let me know. Do you guys have any questions over anything I talked about today? I'm happy to answer any questions here as we wait for things to load. And then I have to jump off. And I'd love to know, what are some things you're going to walk away from today doing maybe differently or better in your business? I would love to know that. All right, while I wait for Facebook comments to catch up, I am excited. We're going to have a date night tonight, which anybody that has had a toddler knows how hard it is to get out for those. We're actually going to be going to a new French restaurant, which I have high hopes, but I'm not attached to my hopes. It's just hard to find really good French food, truly French food that's not super Americanized. I'm just hoping for free bread on the table. Those are my expectations. I have low standards. Jamie says, I love the tip of being sure to, I'm guessing you said you may tell people the next step to work with me. Yeah. Maybe they love what you're putting out there. They just don't know you're actually, open for clients. There you go. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's a very, very important piece of the puzzle, making sure you're actually extending an invitation for people to reach out to you and start that conversation. All right. Well, good. Well, if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments what you're going to be doing differently, how you might be approaching your business differently now moving forward with this information. And I'll stop the share. Yes. Totally, Jamie. You have to believe in yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So that's a very important piece of what we teach is journaling. There's so many different ways you can journal, and so I give you guys prompts and all that good stuff. Because if you don't believe you can succeed, or if there's an excuse for some reason or another, because of your beliefs, then it's going to slow down your growth for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll circle back around and answer those. But getting on a call with Ty is going to be really the best way to kind of see what's happening in your business that might be slowing you down or holding you back from really reaching your goals. All right. Thanks again. I will see you guys later. We'll probably try to do this once a week. I'd love to get back to doing lives more regularly. So don't hold me to it, but I'm going to try for that. All right. Bye.